Hello there guys, and welcome back to our final real-time play video from our Lorcana release event. I'm just going to jump right into the games here. You already know how it's going down. On our left here, we've got an Emerald Amber player, it looks like, and on the right, we've got Amethyst Steel. I will give you a little insight. This Amethyst Steel deck is my personal brew, so I'm excited to see what this deck does. On our other players going first here, we're going to go ahead and run out the one ink Stitch, just trying to get some pressure on the board. We ink a Goons and fire the cannons. Just kill the Stitch, don't want to worry about any shifting shenanigans. Back to the other player's turn, ink the Duke of Whistleton, and run out a Flynn Rider. Alright, Flynn Rider making the Steel player regret using that fire the cannon so early, except that we're able to run out two Maleficents. Oh, are we? Potentially taking that back? Look, we're thinking about that. Just going for the Prince Eric, who trades very favorably into Flynn Rider. Looks like we might have to discard a card if we attack into the Flynn Rider, but then we can really put some pressure on with the double Maleficent. Our opponent does still know about this, though, so they are going to be able to play around it a little bit. Runs out an evasive Peter Pan, but that is just going to get raced by those two Maleficents, unfortunately. Flynn Rider getting 2 lore here for the player, using some dice counters so we can actually see what we're looking at this game. Flynn's gonna go ahead and attack, or Jesus Christ. Prince Eric is gonna kill the Flynn Rider. We're gonna discard a Captain Hook. That's what we're going for. And just run out the 2 Maleficents and just pass on that. Peter Pan is going to be able to do easy work of these Maleficents, but he's gonna have to pass a turn in order to be able to do that, not be able to do anything with the Peter Pan. Doing a Be Our Guest. Look at the top 4, just trying to find some answers. Looks like we see some great ones. There's a Mad Hatter and a Kuzco in there. Trying to get the Mad Hatter for the card advantage in this matchup. Pretty key, even though the Kuzco can be already annoying. Also, it looks like we already have a Kuzco in hand. Running out the 1-mana Lilo. We might have to ink. Yeah, we have to ink our Mad Hatters just so we can stay on curve. We do need to run out the Kuzco. It was either inking that or the Rapunzel that's in our hand. This is quite strong, especially in this matchup where they're doing a lot of small damage to your guys. Go ahead, ink the Prince Eric. He's trying to attack here. I think he realizes that it has evasive. But we do have a smash, sorry. Smash just straight up kills the guy, and then we can quest for 5. This Amethyst Steel player taking a quick lead over the other player with only 1 card in hand versus the 3 cards in our other player's hand, though. He is going to need to get some more gas in the tank. Inks a Flynn Rider to go up to 5, and then is going to run out probably the Kuzco. Yep. Gonna run out the Kuzco. Unfortunately for this player, the Zeus in hand does trade quite favorably into this Kuzco. It doesn't really matter that it dies, and it does have the 4 health, so he's just going to be able to wait for the Kuzco to quest and then drop out the Zeus and kill it. Just gonna have to... Oh, we're gonna go ahead and pressure the Zeus now. That way, if he doesn't quest with the Kuzco, it just wants to let it live. We are going to be able to get the pressure on questing with the Zeus to quest for 2. I'm going to go up to 8 here on this player. Runs out of Cheshire Cat. A little annoying for our Steel Amethyst player. Is actually going to send the Kuzco into Prince Eric. Very interesting. Understands that it's probably dying to the Zeus anyways. If we quest with it, might as well get a 2-for-1 on the way out. Because of Kuzco's revenge effect to banish back whatever kills him. Run out both Goons and quest for 2 with the Maleficent takes us up to 10. And going over to the other player's turn, looks like he really needs to try and get back into this game. Just being able to quest for 4 every turn, and that Cheshire Cat is not putting any pressure on even the weak Maleficent. Like we're running out Iago here and going to quest with the Cheshire Cat. I don't know if the Iago has given anything reckless yet, but I'm sure we'll find out. He probably just wants to be questing with all these cards. Going to play something to draw. Looks like that was probably a Friends on the other side, so we have 2 new cards in hand. We couldn't see the discard. Going to do a run into the Goons and kill with a Fire the Cannons. Means that the Cheshire Cat's effect does not actually apply and quest up to 13. This is one of Steel's pretty nice answers to Emerald, is that all of the Emerald's effects have to trigger when they're in combat, and Steel can kill things without going to combat. One of the few colors that can do that pretty consistently. Runs out of Hans, just running out threat after threat. I think we could see another Fire the Cannons in the hand here of our Steel Amethyst player. Going to kill the small Maleficent. Oh, we're thinking about not killing the small Maleficent. I feel like we have to kill it. Oh, he's doing Reckless with it to force him to swing with it. Doing the tap ability. Get Reckless here. Force him into the Iago with a bunch of health, using Hook to grab back Fire the Cannons. Going to send the Amethyst, I'm blanking on her name, the Maleficent into the Iago, and just quest with the Goons up to a clean 15 and pass it up. Only 3 lore from the Emerald player. Looks like we're going to really need a big swing pretty quickly in order to be able to stop what the Amethyst Steel player is doing here. Another Be Our Guest, going to probably find that Mad Hatter. Looking in the discard pile, seeing if there's anything else that we want. Just going to grab the Mad Hatter. Really need to be able to keep up on card advantage, although at this point it might be too late. But more guys that quest for 3 can try and help even the odds. Just going to run out the Mad Hatter here for sure. Not even bothering to pick it up, just putting it on the board. is a little bit off screen here, but we can definitely tell that Mad Hatter is still on the board. Quest with the Hans goes up to 6 himself. I'm gonna find the 6 on the die. And there it is. I assume we're just passing back here to the other player. Looks like we can see some card draw here. Inking a Beast Mirror. We have 5 mana for the Whole New World. Both players are going to discard their hand and draw 7 cards. This is actually very bad for our Emerald Amber player, because now our Steel player has just so much more cards in hand, so many 1-drops in the deck, that he's able to just run them out, quest up to 18 lore, and even if he's able to take out these 3 guys that are tapped, without something like a Be Prepared, there's just simply nothing he can do. And unfortunately, he's not in those colors for a Be Prepared. Looks like even though he's got infinite cards in hand, he only has 5 ink. Not going to really be able to do anything. He can force that one to get challenged, to gain Reckless, so it has to attack, but that's not going to really solve the problem. We can quest with our, or we can use our Mad Hatter to kill one of the goons, just because we're forced to. Hans can take out another goons, but we still need to take out this Captain Hook, or else we win the game right now for our Steel player. And looking in the opponent's discard, seeing, maybe counting some ratios for some things. We have another card to give Reckless. We can give the goons Reckless. Mother's Knows Best, bounce the goons. Okay, okay. We have another turn. Just reading what Mother Knows Best does. Yep, okay. So the Captain Hook that is untapped must attack, and the Captain Hook that is tapped can still quest. Buys ourselves another turn, but we are really not in a position where we want to be. The opponent still has so many cards in hand, they can just run everything out. That was probably our last-ditch effort at taking things out, especially since this Captain Hook is just going to challenge into the Iago almost certainly, and that is not going to allow our opponent to get back into the game. It looks like we flashed our Enchanted Tinkerbell a little bit. Yeah, the Captain Hook here, the small Captain Hook being able to just take out the Iago, making sure there's no more Reckless shenanigans happening. We just run out every 1-drop in the hand. Another Hook, the goons, running out a 2-drop Facilier, which can also quest, but also doesn't mind challenging. Just going to send that in there, trade the damage over just like that, and then probably quest with the Captain Hook. Alright, now it looks like we're taking out the Hans. Alright, just doing some board control. Still got the Mad Hatter off screen. Don't forget about that, guys. The board's not completely empty, but... Oh, we also have a LeFou that was hiding over there. But it is not looking terribly pretty for our Emerald Amber player. Just looking at his discard, see if there's anything he can do. But it's looking like we might be getting a concession out of here really quick. We've got that Rapunzel. We might be able to draw some cards, but we're just so tight on Emerald that, yep, I think we are. We're so tight on ink that we are just going to be scooping it up and going to a pretty quick game 2. Really gotta, in this matchup for our Amber Emerald player, we really just gotta be trying to hit those quest 3s as early as possible while playing around the challengers, which is quite difficult to do. This Amethyst Steel deck is very, very strong. Just showing what we inked to our opponent, just because they might not have realized exactly which stitch it was. Want to make sure that it's the big stitch, not the small stitch. He's a lot scarier. Now that he's in the inkwell, the opponent can't use it. Less options to find in the late game to really refuel the hand. I'm going to go ahead and ink the Facilier, run out the Hook, which trades pretty favorably into the Weaselton. Just takes it out, and anything else that he might want to try and slide in next to it, he's also able to take out. Going to probably run out the, just run out the 1-mana Stitch. We have tap 2 ink for it, but we're just running that guy out. He thinks that he can attack, but is not going to be able to, but this is all game first day of Lorcana shenanigans, so not too worried about that. Just going to go ahead and quest with it. Inks the 3 ink Maleficent and runs out the Prince Eric. Prince Eric is going to be able to trade much nicer into the Stitch, as he's going to be able to live with his 3 health, which is quite nice for our Steel player. Being able to get potentially a 2-for-1. Runs out High. Ooh, that's interesting. We could just pass here, and then if the opponent quests with the Prince Eric, we can quest with High, buff up the Stitch, and have Stitch take out Prince Eric. That's quite funny. We are just going to run out a Be Our Guest, try and find more juice. Looking for Cusco and Mad Hatters here, almost certainly. Looks like we've got, well, it looks to be a Mad Hatter. It might be a dude. We definitely got, I think there's some Stitches in there. Oh, Cheshire Cat is what I was looking at. Yep. We got the Cat, which is going to be able to put some pressure on the opponent here if he wants to try. We're not going to be able to run it out this turn. Looks like we've got either a Mad Hatter or a Cusco and a Mother Knows Best in hand. Pretty good. Opponent still has a lot of cards in hand, though. Gonna ink something down, tap 2 for Prince Eric, and then 1 for Fire the Cannons. Take out the High. Make sure that, look, yeah, that is what he was planning to do. That's what he passed with. But the Fire the Cannons is able to take out the High. Instead of the Stitch, really valuing that that support value over the 2 attack on the Stitch. Looks like we're running out a Friends on the other side, and then inking, and then just going to quest with our 2 Prince Erics. Nothing we can hit, no reason to. And just Fire the Cannons on the Stitch. Found it off of the Friends on the other side after all. Pass it back to the opponent here, going to tap 2, run out of BR Guess, just really trying to find some juice. Unfortunately, this BR Guess is really putting him behind on tempo, really unable to try and develop his board while he is finding... He's finding a lot of cards, he's finding a lot of powerful cards, especially in the matchup. The evasives are pretty good, but he's just inking it because he just needs some more ink to be able to run out his stuff. And since he's using that 2 mana every turn on the BR Guess, he's just unable to really put pressure on the board, whereas the other player is able to run out everything he needs to. Just going to run out of Maleficent and a Captain Hook, like we also did on other friends on the other side. Just going to challenge into the Cheshire Cat, make sure that it stops doing what it needs to do, while we develop the Maleficent as well to really put some pressure on the opponent. Drawing up an Iago here. Yep, we're probably going to ink that. Just need to get out our 5 mana, our 5 ink cards. Looks like we got the Cuzco here. Cuzco is quite annoying for this deck, but it's really mostly annoying when it's paired with Ruby's untap abilities, like things like Shield of Virtue or LeFou. Once it's tapped down, you can just kill it with most things. Yeah, I'm just going to have to quest up for 4 here. Putting our Steel Amethyst player definitely far ahead. Looks like the dice got a little bit cut off this time, but we'll be able to tell what that is in post. Just double checking everything that's happening. Yep, just running out a second Cuzco. Not ideal for the Steel player, but if we count what's on board, they're actually both tied with quest ability right now, and those Cuzcos really don't want to get into combat. The Steel Amethyst player can just really rush the opponent here. We got the big hook, just going to trade in with the Cuzco, and now we're definitely way far ahead of that. Maleficent can't quest this turn, but everything else can, as we quest for a meaningful 5. Looking at our opponent, while we're up on lore, our opponent only has 3 on the board. If they start attacking, then if they attack anything here, then the Prince Eric can take them out. They really want to be hitting this Maleficent, but then the Prince Eric trades very favorably as it goes up to the 3 attack. Run out the Cheshire Cat. Like we're running out Simba as well. Simba might want to be in bodyguard mode here, especially if we're thinking about... I think he's realizing that he wants the Simba in bodyguard mode as he's about to quest with his Cuzco. Keeps his Cuzco a little bit protected. Actually, we're choosing the Simba not to be in bodyguard mode. Very interesting. Not sure why we're doing that. Feels like the Simba should be in bodyguard mode basically every time he's on the board. Grabbing the Captain Hook to pick up the Fire the Cannons. Send both big Maleficents into Cuzco to take him out. Just reestablish board control. Now we're only really worried about the Cheshire Cat, which is not going to put much pressure on us right now. There's an argument to throw the Fire the Cannons at the Simba so that when it attacks an Maleficent it dies, but we can just hold that for next turn. We did have a little bit of spare mana open. Might have been nice to do that early. Be slightly more mana efficient. Questing up to 14 here for our Emerald player. But Steel player here. Oh, we're doing a Mother Knows Best. Singing Mother Knows Best with the Cheshire Cat, it looks like. You really don't want to bounce that Captain Hook, and you kind of have to just to get it off the board so that the opponent can't win the game here. But it does feel very bad. Running out the Stitch here. This is definitely being a much closer game than the first one. Looks like we've got our big Tinkerbell in hand here. Captain Hook probably going to have to take out that Simba. Ooh, I think he's attacking the Cheshire Cat. Looks like they have missed the bodyguard trigger. But yeah, Goons is going after Simba anyway, so we could have just done it in the other order. No big deal. Using a Fire the Cannons to just clean up the board, and then we're going to be able to run out a Prince Eric. And it looks like also a Dr. Facilier, probably threatening game here. It looks like our Amethyst Steel player has got, got that locked up. Wasn't able to deal with that board. The just swarm presence of the Steel Amethyst deck is pretty close to unmatched right now in the game, especially with the amount of removal that they have, being able to take out any opponent's threats and just put a bunch of guys on board. This is definitely one of the stronger decks to look out for. I hope you guys enjoyed this Day 1 Lorcana video breakdown. This was, again, from our Day 1 release event. This is the last video from this event. We hope that you guys will stick around the channel for plenty more videos just like this one coming your way. Thanks for watching. Peace.